Resources, inspiring interviews, business practices, and practical advice to take your art career to the next level. Join Sergio Gomez in today's Artist Next Level and get ready to take control of your career.
Hello, my Next Level friends. Welcome to another episode of the Artist Next Level podcast. I'm your host, Sergio Gomez, and today I'm here with Dr. Yanina Gomez. How are you, Yanina?
I am doing very well. I'm happy to be here, which means that we're going to be talking about wellness.
That's right. That's right. That is awesome to have you back here in the program. We like to infuse wellness into this podcast, something that we take very seriously here at the Art Next Level, and who better to give us some advice on that than yourself?
Well, thank you. That's very kind of you.
But before we do that, because today we're going to talk about procrastination. So I was thinking maybe we talk about it next time. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe at some other point.
Well, maybe in the future. I don't know. You're being a procrastinator right now.
Exactly. So, well, before we talk about procrastination and, give you some tools and advice on how you can overcome, or well, maybe not overcome, but how you can fight procrastination, because I think that's one of, at least for me as an artist, is one of the things that I suffer from. I love to do the things that energize me, like the podcast. I love to do the podcast, but there are other tedious tasks that as an artist I hate to do, such as taxes or filling out paperwork for shows. I hate to do that, and I put it all the way to the end, and often that is dangerous. So
yes,
we're going to talk about
dangerous.
that.
Yes.
But like I said, maybe later. So in the meantime, while I decide to get back to that, for our Chicago friends, I want to give you some really awesome news. We have the Art Next Level Summer Series. Unfortunately, this only applies to our Chicago artists. So if you're not a Chicago artist, just hold down. We're going to talk about procrastination, I promise, pretty soon. Let me just give this quick announcement for our Chicago friends, Chicago artists. We have the Summer Series, which means we have 3 workshops that are coming up this summer. Pretty soon. The first one happens in August the 1st. It's Photoshop Basics for Artists. In this 2-hour hands-on workshop, I go through the tools and techniques, the basic tools and techniques that you need to know as an artist. I've been teaching now Photoshop at the college level for over 10 years. And I love sitting down with artists and teaching them the tools and techniques they need to make their images look awesome, because unfortunately sometimes artists' images don't look the best, and that could mean that you may get rejections as well. So often bad images are cause for trouble for you as an artist. So if that's you, if you need this, of course sign up at our website at theartistnextlevel.com for August 1st, Photoshop Basics for Artists. The next one then will be August 4th, which we have the Artist Digital Press Kit. In this session, again, a 2-hour session where we will sit down with artists and help them to create a artist digital press kit. You might think, what in the world is that? Well, what it is one PDF that contains your most valuable information as artists that you can send on the fly to anyone who is interested about your work. And I have used mine many times with great success. Somebody shows interest on my work. Could be a gallery, could be a collector, could be somebody who's writing something about me. Yes, you can send them to your website, but if you have a quick PDF that they have it, they download it, they open it, with the information that they need, samples of your work, etc. So we're going to be working hands-on, helping artists to do that on August 4th. And then the last one is on August 19th. That's the Next Level Strategic Lab. That's where Dr. Yanina Gomez and myself, we will be there working with artists. This is a whole day event. It's a one-day event where we work with artists, helping them to create a roadmap and a strategy for the future. We talk about business strategies. We create a business plan. We do also wellness components, and we do kind of a nice roadmap specific for each artist for the future. So that's on August 19th. So again, those are the 3 events. August 1st, Photoshop Basics for Artists. August 4th, the Artist Digital Press Kit. And August 19th, Next Level Strategic Lab. And these workshops will take place at our gallery, our Next Level Projects, 33 Contemporary Gallery in Chicago. So if you want more information, if you want to sign up for these, there's limited space for the workshops. Just go to our website at www.theartistnextlevel.com. You will see some links for that where you can sign up as well. It's going to be pretty awesome. So that's for our Next Level Summer Series. So I don't have any more to talk about in terms of announcements, Yanina. So I guess no more procrastination, and we shall go now and talk about procrastinating.
Yep, that's a good idea.
So this we selected this topic because this is something that I think as artists we fight with, and talking to many of the artists, I know I'm not the only one. I'm the first one to say that's me when it comes to procrastination. If you look at my desk right now, there's a bunch of stuff that I need to take care of tomorrow or the next week or at some point,
year.
Right? So I know it starts to pile up, and Dr. Yanina is going to help us today to fight some of that procrastination. And I have a couple pointers to give you as well. So now, do you suffer from that?
You know what? I have to say that that's something that I don't suffer from, unless it's related to cleaning the house. Or doing the dishes. When it comes to like mundane tasks, yes. But when it comes to things that I need to do, I think it's something, well, we do suffer from it, but this is something that I have been very intentional about. So let me just clarify that. I've been intentional about, and I have come up with the strategies to help me not to get there.
Exactly. And that I can testify that is very true. I know, 'cause, we as a couple, we know each other quite a bit, and I can say that is absolutely right. And that's why I wanted to also bring you in the program, because I know you're not just talking from notes, but you're talking from your life experience. You helped me out many times to be accountable and to get the things I need to get done, because procrastination is on my T-shirt.
Although you've been getting much better.
Of course, I get thanks to this tool. So
give yourself some credit.
Thank you. So let's talk about these. Why don't you start giving us like the first one? And
so one of the reasons I think people tend to procrastinate is because, like I said before, those mundane tasks. You identify, you label that task that you need to do as boring, not fun. And the truth is that in order for us to overcome those things, we have to identify the why you have to do that, and how will that make you better or make you achieve your goal faster, or, why you have to do that. And once you are able to identify the why of that task and how that will make a difference in your life, and you start seeing it or you label it as something that is productive, then things might change. And that's once you get to that, once you know the why and you identify the task and how is that making a difference in the goal that you have set for yourself, especially in your case as an artist, then what you do is you create small steps, or I call micro goals, to get there. And that's one thing, that when we see these tasks that need to be done and we see that they're not as fun anymore, you start thinking, oh my goodness, I have all these things to do and I don't feel like it and I really don't want to do this. But when you break this big task into smaller, more manageable steps to get there, it makes life easier. And sometimes, like, an example would be that comes to my mind right away is the artist that creates a brand new art piece. And, there comes the task of documenting that art piece, making sure that it's in the right, you have it archived, and then all those extra things that you have to do that they're not as fun. But when you see them, that if you don't do those small tasks, you will not be able to share that piece with other people and promote it and hopefully sell it, then you will see that, those small mundane tasks are meaningful. They're going to make a greater impact in your art career. Therefore, things need to be done.
Absolutely. And I think one of the ones that I can think of is, like, for example, as you mentioned, you create a new work, the process of documenting it may be tedious. Then updating the website, I think that's one of the worst things, where as a curator myself, I visit artist websites all the time on a weekly basis as I'm planning for future shows. And very often websites are not up to date. And, the reason is because we keep maybe putting it off. Oh, I'll do it later. Oh, I'll wait until, I have a bunch of stuff to update all at once. So, those little things that it could be done a lot faster if we just sit down and do it. they pile up, and then it becomes a harder task to.
Right. When you have a
do
system
later, yeah.
to do it, it will be you will be able to see your accomplishments, and that's one thing, because you see that this big task that you have to do, and it's a big thing that you immediately label it as it's going to take a lot of time and it's boring and I don't want to do it. But then you by default you are becoming frustrated and
Right.
you are not seeing accomplishment. But once you identify the main task or the goal and break it into small manageable steps, you will see that each time you take a step and you finish that step, you will feel a sense of accomplishment.
Very cool. That's a great one. And actually, inside the Artist Next Level membership community, we call that the micro goals, right?
Yes.
And so every week we have micro goals, things that we as artists we want to accomplish that week.
Right. So, just to sum it up, we encourage you to pinpoint your main task and break it down into smaller steps.
That's right. Awesome. Love that one. How about a second one?
A second one is, a point that is very interesting that we tend to take for granted and oftentimes we don't pay attention to, which is getting enough rest.
Right.
We really are in a society that we're always on the run. We want everything today, now, instant gratification, and we want to what people call multitasking, which if you know me, you will know that I am not into multitasking at
You're
all.
looking at me funny.
Because I have found through experience and observing other people that multitasking might lead to not the results you want, because you will not be able to provide high quality because you are shifting your attention to too many tasks. And of course, each time you shift attention, you lose concentration, you lose focus.
So that means like my two screens and my phone open and all my tabs and all my apps open, that's at the end of the day costing me time.
More time, and as a matter of fact, you're probably not producing to your max if you were to focus on one task at a time.
Right. And the brain gets tired too. It burns more calories as
Absolutely.
it has to work more.
Right.
And not necessarily calories to lose fat, but calories.
Unfortunately, you get tired. And one of the
Right.
things, and if you see the research, it has shown that people who do not rest enough hours, they tend to be, they make more mistakes. They do make more mistakes because they're tired. When you're tired, you just cannot focus. You cannot concentrate. You cannot be alert, and all these things that help you be productive, they become weaker and weaker and weaker. And another thing that they have found is that when you're tired, you're restless. And when you're restless, you're not motivated. And I mean, think about it. When you're tired, you're like, okay, now I need to do this. I'm super tired. I'm sleepy. And now I have to come up with all these tasks and I need to accomplish these goals. The amount of concentration and focus that you need to perform and complete a task successfully, it requires a lot. And the more tired you are, the more sleepier you are, the less you will be able to do what you need to do and be successful, and that's not even talking about the physical symptoms that you get when you don't rest, how metabolism is really affected, how the endocrine system is affected. So, you have to think about all the different things that happen in your body and your mind when you are tired, that it's not even worth it.
Right.
So,
exactly.
It's so important that you really focus on sleeping at least 8 hours a day,
Right.
Find a way to put it on your schedule, but it's very important that you rest.
Or recover. Sometimes, you have no choice and, you have to take some of these short hours of sleep, but then take a weekend to kind of catch up and recover on some of that.
Right.
Some of the batteries.
Because your body
you have
will,
lost.
your body will deteriorate.
Right.
And, you will not be able to optimize your abilities.
All right, so you have shared two very good ones, micro goals, resting as two very important ways in which we can fight procrastination. I have a couple too to share.
Oh, okay. That would be awesome.
And so let's see, you can help me out on this one. Accountability. I find that when I'm accountable on the things that I have to do, it helps me to get them done, even if there are tasks that I'm not excited about, that I have no... I cannot find a good reason why I should be doing it, but it has to be done. And, having an accountability partner or somebody I can share the task with, even just by mentioning it, helps me to get it done.
Yes.
I don't know, there's something that triggers in my head that says, you shared it, therefore don't forget to do it.
Right.
Even if the other person is not going to be calling me, hey, did you do it? But just by the fact of sharing it, it allows me to be more proactive in finishing the task. And this is something that we use also as a tool to help our next level community inside the membership. We have what's called Accountability Week. And I love to check it out every day, because artists go in, and the way it works, for those who do not know, the way it works inside of online membership is that artists can go to this forum, and you can put what are your micro goals for the week. And just by the act of sharing them to a community, you are more likely to achieve them, or to complete them, or to work towards them. Nobody's there checking or calling, hey, you missed this or that. It's kind of it's a self evaluation that one does, but just by the act of sharing it to a community, it helps you do it. If I said I'm going to work this week and upload, my new pieces to Artwork Archive, for example, just because I said it to the community, by Wednesday I'm thinking, oh, geez, I haven't done that yet. Maybe I should get going onto it. So I think accountability is very, very valuable.
It's a mind game, actually.
Yeah.
It becomes public once you share it. And because your name is attached to that statement, whatever it is, you want to keep your reputation. And this is an unconscious mind game. You're not conscious about this. So now your name is at stake because you said you were going to do something and you don't want to disappoint other people. Therefore, you'll do whatever is necessary to complete that task. And that's basically almost like what is going on in your mind when you share with other people what you are going to do. And it's really a self-motivator.
Right.
It's like, of course, unless you have someone that is kind of like pointing at you like, hey, you were supposed to do this and you didn't, that's a different story. But when that's not the case, when you have a support system that is there to help you, you feel that you owe to these people the fact that you said something that you're going to do and you're going to pursue it and finish it.
Right.
So it really serves as a self-motivator, which will lead to productivity.
Exactly. And, for some people, maybe they think of, well, I just put things on sticky notes, but sticky notes really don't give you, they just become like a giant to-do list, but they don't give you priorities.
Right.
An accountability system is one where you prioritize. Say, well, this is the most important thing I'm going to do, then this one, and then that one, and so forth. So it comes with a sense of priority on what's important.
And that you are owning what you say you're going to do. So when it comes to when you don't share, especially for artists that they don't have bosses or managers that are, watching over them, you don't have anyone to hold you accountable. And what happens, at least in our experience with artists that we have worked in the past, is that then it's easier to
get things undone.
Exactly. And just procrastinate because no one is holding you accountable. You don't have to report to anybody, just yourself, and you will find an excuse
right
to not do what you're supposed to do. So if you really want to be proactive, if you really want to be productive rather, then it's having an accountability support system is a must.
Right.
It's a must.
Awesome. So that was accountability. And the last one, which is another one I want to share that really helps me out. If you are like me, that procrastination sometimes gets on the way and it's something that we fight with, is deadlines. Having deadlines is a huge motivator. At least it is for me. When I have a deadline and I know I have a calendar and I like to look at my calendar and I can see how many days are getting closer to my deadline. And deadlines help to get things done. It help me get things motivated. Maybe it's the kind of like the educational guy in me that I'm always giving deadlines to people, for the workshops that we do and things like that. And also as in the gallery, we got to have deadlines on when things have to be turned in and so forth. But deadline seems to motivate us. Why is that? What does that do for us?
Well, because especially when someone is relying on you for them to be able to put together a show, well, they need to have everything in a certain time. And that once again, going back to that self-motivation, that they're counting on you. and you want to present yourself as responsible and someone you can count on. And of course, you will meet those deadlines because you want your reputation to be clean.
Right.
And that's how you have to see it. Even, it's one thing that you get deadlines by galleries or curators or exhibitions, whatever that is. But if it works for that, you should use those deadlines for your own personal
Right.
progress. Exactly.
Right.
So obviously it's working. And I know that there's a difference between someone giving you a deadline versus you giving yourself a deadline. But it's important that you do that as well. And it helps you to be more disciplined.
Right. I think that's the key word there, discipline. Right. The idea of having the discipline of setting up some deadlines on when things will be done so that they happen.
Right.
And that's, we use that also when we created the goal setting system for artists, which is a free resource that you can download from our website. And the way it works is you can do this any time of the year. You don't have to do it at the beginning of the year, but you set your goals for the year, what you want to accomplish, and then you set some deadlines. And as you go through the program, every month, you check what's been done and what not. And then every quarterly or so forth, you have also an evaluation where you see if you have accomplished what you said you were going to do. Right. So you set yourself some deadlines, which, and we said in the training for this course that, it's they are not set in stone. Sometimes, things happen in life and you have to move them around as you go through, but at least you have them written down. They're not just in your head. They become then abstract thoughts that then things don't get done. So deadlines, I think, are really important. Something that I've been doing lately, and for as much as I love technology and I love have everything on my phone and my device and my calendar, there's something about having an actual calendar that I can look at on paper and then I can cross off the days. It does something for me in my head. And I was talking actually to another artist friend of ours a couple of weeks ago, and she said the same thing. She's like, I have my phone and everything, but I gotta look at a calendar and I have to cross off, what's done. And just last week I went back to paper. I still have everything on my
old-fashioned paper.
On my calendar on my phone, so I can put my things there, and you can put yours too. But I just print out every month. I'm gonna start printing. I already printed out for the next few months my calendar, so I have also a hard copy. There's something about it that when I see I have a deadline and I'm running out of days, it motivates me to accomplish the task.
Yes.
And so we'll see how that works for me.
Yeah, and it has to do with style. It's like it's your preference. So maybe this will be something that it might work for friends.
Exactly.
Maybe they prefer the phone and using reminders and alerts like I do.
You like reminders. I hate reminders because I turn them off or I purposely don't see them, don't look at them.
Which is interesting because I'm not as technology savvy as you are, and I prefer the phone calendar and the notifications and reminders. So it's quite interesting how that works. I don't know how that works.
When I see that, don't tell me what to do, notification, and I just skip it.
No,
but if I see it on paper, it's like, oh, this is important.
So, find what's best for you and what works for you, but do it. You've got to do it. Take action and stop making excuses, because otherwise you're going to get stuck. You're going to get frustrated and things will not go for you.
That's right. So just to recap, and as we close this program for today, is first one was micro goals. Divide your big tasks into micro goals so you can accomplish them easier. Resting, having enough time to rest yourself so that you can gain the energy and really focus on those tasks, as Dr. Yanina said earlier, have the energy and the focus to do them. We talk about accountability, having other people that you are accountable to, that you share. Maybe just share what your goals are and the things that you need to do, and having deadlines, deadlines that you can follow. And my friends, if those 4 items help you fight procrastination, well, that's awesome. We would love to hear from you.
Yeah, let us
know. Maybe you have others that work really good for you, and you can let us know. And the way you can do that is when you go to this episode page on the website. You go to theartistnextlevel.com and you'll find there our podcast. Each episode has a page, and at the bottom you can leave comments. So we would love to hear
what works for you.
What are your strategies for fighting procrastination? Or maybe you're gonna try these 4 this week, and maybe that's something that you can do. Say, well, these 4 things to do. Maybe I'll do it later. Maybe I'll do them next month. So that's, practicing procrastination. What you can do is set yourself a deadline. Say, okay, next week, I'm going to try these 4 strategies. I'm going to cut some of the things I have to do in smaller steps. I'm going to rest a little bit more. I'm going to share these things with at least another person. And I'm going to put myself some deadline. So try that for a week. Don't put yourself, this is my new thing I'm going to do for the rest of my life. No, just try it for a week.
Right.
See what works and see if that becomes beneficial for you. So if you found this podcast beneficial, my friends, don't keep it just to yourself. Instead, share it with another artist, with another friend. That's what this podcast is for, to help us all out in our career and be better at what we do. Because when we do that, we spend more time in our studio and we create the work that we really want to do and the work that we want to see in our career. One last announcement as we close for this episode is that pretty soon, in the next month or so, you'll be seeing and then you'll be hearing more about the Art Next Level membership community, which we're about to open our doors in the fall. For the fall season, our membership community only opens 3 times a year, in which you can enroll and be part of that. It's an amazing community of artists where we work with all the things that we share in our podcast. We work there with our artists, and it's just an amazing group. And so that's coming up. That opens up towards the end of August, all the way run through September, and then we close doors again because we continue working with our artists, and we'll be sharing with that in the upcoming episodes and also in our website and everywhere else. So
sounds like a plan.
Yep. Thanks again, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you at the next level.
Check out our website at www.theartistnextlevel.com, where you will find our podcast library, learn about our upcoming webinars, find resources relevant to your career, and much more. Thanks for listening to today's podcast, and we'll see you at the next level.